Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I'm never really one of the people that goes out and gets drunk and carouses around. I've always said that New Year's is a carouser holiday. The original intent behind New Year's was, the reason why people went out and partied so much was that they viewed it in past times. If a person is out partying all night, getting drunk, having a good time, making merry or whatever, that's what they will be doing the rest of that year. And so by bringing in New Year's with a celebration and basically just pretty much, I don't know, now it's become pretty much debauchery, starting fights, whatever horrible decisions get made. Maybe they end the evening off with losing a couple fingers. Well, or maybe a hand. But the idea to me, if I want to be doing the same thing that I'm doing all year long in New Year's, then that means I'll be basically working toward my goals this evening and setting up an agenda, a plan, something to focus on. Now, of course, I'm going to continue with my regular investing journey. This is not financial advice. Get over here now. Stop that. Stop it. Get over here now. It's not financial advice, but I'm just going to continue with my investing journey. I will let the indexes do some of that lifting for me. I will let the dividends come in. And I decided that maybe it's the best thing to not only move, but work toward a not just a custom line, but actual full-on production line. And I'm talking like with employees and everything. And I'm thinking Nevada, or maybe the deep south, like Appalachia, like some of these older regions of the South with these beautiful brick buildings. The people in the South love their monuments. And, I've seen these brick buildings that are just shuttered and empty. And I'm like, what if I took one of those things and, put a couple milling machines in and started cranking blades out, then eventually got up to where I can hire a few people. And if I were to hire people, I want to hire Americans to make this stuff. I want to be, we can't source everything here. I realize that. I try to source the steels here in America, though. I want to source as much of the metals and materials as I can, to ensure their genuineness. But, I understand there's certain things that will come from overseas, but the labor, I can still source the labor or the workmanship here in the United States. And I would like to do that. Just have them made here stateside. I made my decision. I've heard, and I understand outsourcing has gotten a lot more streamlined and it's a lot more efficient these days. But I'm ready to basically try an actual production line made here in the United States. I'm thinking Nevada, the northeast Nevada region, or maybe Appalachia, maybe, somewhere over there. Take up an older building, maybe put some renovations on it. And there's just whole downtown areas that are just empty. And it's like, well, why not just fill this up? Pretty much what I need to do is I need steel, I need materials and some machinery. And if I started to make enough, I could hire one person and hire another person and hire another person. And the next thing you know, I got a production line. Why not? And why not? What would be the real loss of that? Would I make that much more if I had it made overseas? But that's my goal that I will begin to work toward now. And I did a video about how my hobby is knife making, and my hobby I make assets. And I'm thinking, well, what about, turning my hobby into, what about having a hobby about actually creating jobs and creating assets, which are the knives, and making money? And I thought, what if I did that on a production level? Because I mean, a production level would do a lot better, I think, in the long run than, you know, a custom line, than me just making stuff. So I think it'd be a good thing to work toward, start working toward. Of course, I'll still continue on my investing journey. I can't, you know, compromise my retirement. I mean, no way I'm going to go and go into, you know, basically sacrificing my retirement to start this. No way that's going to happen. But I can do certain things, and, you know, and maybe some creative financing can kind of help along the process. So we'll see how it goes. But that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking maybe Appalachia to do, you know, an actual production line, do an actual mill with an actual lathe, all that type of stuff. I'm gonna put these two away. Time to go home. It's getting dark. Now, there's an old saying, you know, innovation is a crapshoot, and modeling other people's lines is the way to go. You know, because they're proven business models. But I'm thinking to myself, well, what if I went ahead and out of such a constricting arrangement, such a cramped arrangement, and just went ahead and set up a small shop in one of those buildings? I mean, it seems like there's all these towns that are just kind of wide open. Maybe there's some sort of historical register. I'd have to look into that, because I'm thinking, you know, there's always a reason. There's always a reason why something is the way it is. You know, I show up and I said, well, I can change this. I can fix that or fix this, and halfway into fixing the problem, I find out why there is a problem, and that's why it was the way it was, and there's no point in fixing it. So maybe it's one of those situations where there's no point in fixing it. But I'm basically going to authorize for myself maybe a trip to go out and kind of see what's going on out there, and see what the area has in store. I mean, I'm not going to go in with this, you know, corporate raider mentality, you know, where I want to take advantage of people or anything like that. I understand that there's cultural differences between the North and the South, the East Coast and the West Coast, but particularly there are cultural differences between the North and the South. I've read Thomas Sowell's, you know, book, you know, a couple of his books, and I do understand there are certain cultural differences in customs and things like that. And, you know, to go in, for me to go in with with just seeing dollar signs with this matter is just kind of a bad idea. And there's a certain nuanced approach that I would have to take in going to this region and courting this culture of sorts. And so that's what I'll have to focus on. But, you know, if the right town with the right location, because you say these buildings, things are the way they are for a reason, but these buildings in these shuttered down towns were something at one time. They were something at one time. The town back there was, with all these beautiful buildings, was more than it was more than just a bunch of empty buildings with maybe a convenience store and a sandwich shop. I mean, it was, you know, these communities had productive capacities at one time. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you know, in my intent, I need to go there with the intent of not being somebody who just intends on helping these poor people out of the doldrums and gentrifying the area, increasing property values, and looking at this as just a purely transactional endeavor. I need to look at this as, hey, you know, there's a place with a lot of potential, and what if somebody were to come along and put some of that productive lifeblood back into the community or the town, and set up shop there and see where things go, you know, and you know, forge some relationships. You know, people wanted to come work for me, hire them, you know, kind of understand where everyone's coming from, you know, that sort of thing. And so, you know, it's not necessarily something that's definitely not guaranteed success, pretty far from guaranteed success, but it might be, this is an endeavor worth exploring, at least. the concept of an American-made production line somewhere in the South. Now, I looked at Nevada, but the South is a little more intriguing. And I always have a saying. I live by the saying, there are no deals. In other words, there are no deals. I don't go in and say, ooh, I'm getting a good deal on these people, or ooh, I'm getting a good deal in this location. You know, there are no deals. I mean, I fundamentally will like the location for the price, but I have to like the location first. I have to mesh with the people first. And, you know, and if I was an employer, I'm not going to be some sort of slave driver, money-driven slave driver. I don't want to be that type of person. I do want to hear, kind of hear out what they say. I want to know. I want to be in a position where we kind of each party knows where each party's coming from. What each party wants to do. What do my employees have for their goals? What do they plan by achieving by working for me? What my goals are, what I expect out of them, and coming to a compromise where the arrangement fits both parties, not just some winner take all arrangement. So that's what I'm considering about. I'm considering a actual production knife line made here in America, made by Americans. I want to make it. I want Americans working for me. It's not going to be made in America, and and there's a bunch of people. I want actual Americans. I would actually like to hire locals. I would like to hire people that live in the community, and are within driving distance, and that sort of thing. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about doing, and that's what I plan on focusing on as a goal for the year of 2024. Of course, it wouldn't come this year. Something like this would take a while to do, but I will actually look at this as a goal and look at setting this up and look at what the first few steps may be to take toward going over there, acquiring a facility, acquiring a building, and setting up the thing. I don't know if this would be a bank loan thing or not. I don't know what will happen, but I do know that if I imagine it, I will find a way. I will find a path to achieving this goal, achieving these objectives, if I take it serious enough and it's not just a pipe dream and I'm really ready to do it. So, okay, Happy New Year. Don't worry about the haters. Just let the haters worry about you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.